Hi, everyone. I'm Taryn Deaton, principal with Thread Strategies, and I'm here with my colleague and friend, Holly Richardson, who's a director with Thread. And we're here today to talk about nuts and bolts of foundation relations, and specifically about how do you write a winning proposal. And we want to give you some tips and tricks about how to write good proposals. So Holly, let's just jump right into it with our first tip. What do you think?
Well, I have to say, first and foremost, I love this area of fundraising. It is near and dear to my heart as a literature and linguistics geek. In my academic career, I was a grants manager and writer for National Public Radio for a good while. So this is an area that is very close to my heart. I get really excited about it in a happy, geeky kind of way. So my first tip for you is to read your writing out loud. The first trick to being readable and to making a proposal that is going to be compelling and interesting is to understand that somebody on the other side is actually reading that. A real live person is reading that, not a computer. You're not going through an algorithm or, all the other things that happen in algorithms these days. A real live person is going to read your application. And so you need to read your writing out loud to hear how it sounds, to hear, are your sentences getting too long? And if you have to breathe multiple times per sentence, maybe think about changing out that semicolon for a period or that extra comma for a period, shortening up your style, shortening up your sentences. But the greatest trick that I love to inform people is read it out loud, because you'll catch how things here out loud that on paper seem totally normal and fine. Because our brain processes language differently when it's written versus when it's auditory, but using that auditory editing is going to make your writing stronger. And that's your first trick to having a readable, interesting application, is one that is easy and accommodating and inviting to read.
I think that's so important. Yeah, I think that's so important. It's a tool that I've used throughout my life as a student, as a professional. Like, I always read things out loud, and you always catch stuff in a way that you wouldn't if you just were reading it on the paper, or silently. So I think that's a great tip. And so then our second tip is kind of similar in nature, and that it's kind of elementary, if you will, but it's just make sure that you're answering the question that was asked. And so as you respond to each prompt, make sure that as you're writing, that you're actually responding to the question and rephrase the question in a response form. So many times I think we have things we want to say to organizations, and so we start to make sure that we say those things, but then we don't necessarily answer the questions that they've asked. And that's not going to be received well by these funders. So, just really go ahead.
Yeah, I can just jump into that point. Funders are trying to make apples to apples comparisons about what's going to be the more well-rounded investment for them, for what they're also trying to accomplish against their mission. So when you go off piste and just start talking about whatever it is that you want to talk about or that you think is most important, you're actually making it harder for the foundation to evaluate how awesome your investment is compared to another organization. So a tip and a trick that I've used in this realm is, whatever the question prompt is, go back to that high school, middle school writing advice where you use the question to start your answer, right? Like, you make your thesis, your topic statement be, my answer to this question is, insert answer here. Just like be basic about it. This is not the same thing as an academic dissertation.
Right. No, I think that's a great tip. So let's give them one more, Holly. What's the third thing you'd say?
The other thing that I think is really important about grant writing is to be considerate of how it looks on the page, right? That big, dense blocks of text are really hard and daunting to read. They take a lot more concentration. They take a lot more attention. If you want someone to actually get through your narrative, remember the main point, shorter, more pithy paragraphs are going to help move your reader through your text, but also help them to remember more of those strong topic sentences and what the gist is. Because if you try and get too many ideas into one paragraph, ultimately your reader's going to go, I can't remember where we are. I can't.
That's right.
I don't know where we're supposed to go.
That's right.
So think about how, even if it's an online application and you're submitting it through an online portal, be thoughtful about how it looks on the page. Be mindful that white space is your friend when you're writing. So these are just some of our quick, easy, sort of out of the gates tips for when you start to grant write. The nuts and bolts of what you have to attend to first is that this is a writing exercise, and you need to appreciate it as that much.
Yep, I agree totally. And I think these are super helpful, very easy tips to pay attention to on your next grant application. Just kind of use this as a checklist as you're writing. So thanks everyone for joining us today. Hope this has been helpful in as you're pursuing some grant applications. We invite you to check out some of our other videos on this topic, and certainly would love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we do try to offer kind of easy tips and tricks to make our work and development a whole lot easier. So please subscribe. And if Thread can ever help you in any way, or you have a question that you'd like to send our way, please check out our website, threadstrategies.com, to get our contact information, and don't hesitate to reach out to us. But we wish you very happy fundraising and great success with your grants. Take care.
Amazing. Happy writing.